Hey, Instagram, it's Dr. Goldner, and it's time for our Q&A. So hopefully you guys are getting into the habit now of seeing me on Wednesdays in your feeds. So I'm so happy to see all of you guys and seeing all of your comments already coming in. Looks like today our live stream is already up and running and looking good. So everybody see me, hear me? Everybody's happy? All right, cool. So far, so good. Okay, so what I'm going to do, as always, now I can say always because we've done this a handful of times now, is I'm going to go around and take questions from YouTube, Facebook, our Smoothie Shred group, our family on Facebook, our free community. If you haven't checked it out, Smoothie Shred, and Instagram. Hi, Instagram, to make sure that those of you all over the world who are trying to get healthy know what to do, right? So I'm constantly broadcasting my information, my protocols, my answers to your questions, because I want you to be healthy. I don't want what happened to me to be something that doesn't happen to everyone. It's what I want most. I was just talking to someone about this. I was at Fox 26 studio talking to them, waiting for the show. And I said, this was never in my plan. I just wanted to work with the homeless. And I did that for years. I was a medical director at a nonprofit working with underserved youth coming out of foster care and juvenile justice. And that was the dream, never being in front of a camera. But sometimes the universe takes you somewhere you didn't expect. And after my lupus went away 17 years ago, and I realized what happened to me was reproducible, I just couldn't spend any more time not giving that back. So that's why I do this work. That's why I do it for free. That's why I'm constantly coming online trying to help you guys, as I want this to be something that you all do and get healthy. So let's go ahead and work on that. I am a little bit like, if I seem kind of more mellow today, I've just spent hours just studying my group. We have a group starting on Friday, our 6-week rapid recovery group. So for those of you who are in it, I have been studying all of your charts and information, and check your email because I have questions for some of you. I want to make sure you guys all get started with a great experience. That group, for people who are interested, is all about optimizing the nutrition to get better as quickly as humanly possible, and optimizing your mental health, your habits, your self-care, your sleep, so that your body, there's nothing holding you back. You can go full stream ahead as rapidly as possible, hence rapid recovery. Our January book is, our January group is overbooked. It is full to the brim. We already have a list of people who are waiting for March. The next group, I believe, will be March 17th. So for those of you who already know you're going to need it, that's where you go. But for now, this is just time dedicated to donating to the public here. And you know what, this was on my mind today, so I'm going to just share it with you. I was thinking about this a lot because I've been seeing folks lately where a lot of my recommendations for them have been to study health less, which might sound weird to say to a crowd of people who just showed up to learn more. But when you've decided what you want to do, whether it's going to be the Goodbye Autoimmune Disease protocol or whatever it is you've decided you're going to do it all out and stop studying for a minute. Just stop. Just let your brain focus on what you decided to do and spend all the rest of your time just enjoying your life. All right. You don't want to make your life about studying and learning health. All right. Unless you're a medical student right now, in which case you have no choice. All right. I spent years doing that. You don't have other options. But otherwise, what I find is people get so caught up in the studying process, their life becomes about disease and sickness, and they forget what they're living for, what they're fighting for. Why are you even trying to do this? One thing that I learned about being told I was going to die at 16 was that life is precious. Even if you're hurting, even if your kidneys are failing and your joints hurt and your head hurts, that if you woke up, it's a gift. And make sure you do something to appreciate it, enjoy it, feel grateful for your day, even while you're working to get your health better. So I just wanted to put that out there. I love that all you guys show up here, but I also want to make sure that you're doing other stuff so you feel like a person rather than just a sick person. Okay, enough of my lecture. Let me go ahead and get started over here with the questions. So I'm looking, if you see my eyeballs moving, I'm going to my computer screen, going to my Instagram, all that stuff. So I want to make sure I have all of your questions here. All right, let me see here. Okay. All right, let's see here. All right, so Marjorie's first on the list here, saying, can you tell us more about your cookbook? So excited. How did you know I'm working on that so much? So I'll give you a teaser. I just got this printout here This is an early draft we're working on. This is just recipes without the pictures. I do have pictures too. So now we're going through the process of the editing and designing to get it all together. Every time I write a book, I think it's going to be done like a year before it is. It is so time consuming. But we decided to do this one. I redid it. I originally started out with a different book, and then I changed my mind and decided to make this instead of having meals that are for health and step down and other things, to make it all meals that we use in my rapid recovery programs, including a huge amount of donated recipes from graduates of our program who reversed their diseases using our program, using these recipes. So they're all rapid recovery. Now, as I've always said, you can literally just use the smoothies and heal. There's no reason to have to get a book. But for all you guys who want, fun, lavish meals, it is in the process. We're closer than we've ever been. We've got the pictures, we've got the text. Now we got to stitch it all together and make it gorgeous. And I promise I will let you guys know when it's ready. I'm always said that's what you guys keep asking me for. So I'm dutifully doing it, even though you could just use the smoothie recipes at smoothieshred.com and pay nothing. You want recipes, I'm working on it. So it's coming out soon. So Marjorie, just hang in there. Hang in there. People who are in my rapid recovery group, you're getting that draft that I just showed you. You are going to be our testers, and you get the access to the recipes before they're published. So I'm excited for you guys. All right. Question over here. Let's check out a question. Let's look for a Facebook question here. Let's see. All right. Jill wants to know, if I'm doing half smoothies and water, do I still need a teaspoon of salt and 150 milligrams of iodine? Okay. So Jill, the iodine requirements are the requirements for all of you adult humans out there. Iodine is necessary for thyroid health, but also for brain health. We need iodine for multiple function. There are brain function issues for people who are iodine deficient as well. And it's not just the brain fog of your low thyroid. So iodine requirements are the same no matter what program you're doing. Mine, any other one, make sure you're getting your iodine. What gets confusing for people is that most folks get their iodine from sodium, right? So iodized salt already has the iodine put in there, because at least our government in the States realized long ago that people need iodine and they're not getting enough. So they just stuck it in salt because everybody used salt, right? So I only have had to specifically recommend it in recent years because people have started using salt that has no additives in it. And then I've seen iodine deficiencies result and thyroid issues result from that. So always make sure you're getting your iodine recommendations, okay? You're getting your amounts, your recommended amounts of iodine. The sodium, I don't know what you mean while you're doing half water. So I don't know if you mean you're getting half the water I recommend, or if you're drinking water. I'm not sure I understand your question, so I'm just going to answer in a general way. Normally, when people do the full hypernourishment protocol where they're getting over 96 ounces of water a day, a teaspoon of salt is a good idea. Realize a few things. One, your kidney's job is to make sure that your blood levels of your electrolytes are where they should be, right? So, the landscapers are here. Always when you're recording, right? So your kidney's job is to make sure that your blood electrolytes stay the same, including your sodium levels, right? So if you suddenly dump a whole lot of water into your body, you're going to suddenly dilute your sodium levels in your bloodstream. If you dilute the sodium levels in your bloodstream, then your kidneys are going to just get rid of the water to get your sodium levels to come back to normal, which means you're going to just pee it all out. And some people, if they get their sodium low enough, will have diarrhea and have to urinate a lot. Fun times, move your office into the bathroom, right? So if you want to absorb the water, keep the water, and not have it all coming out of you at once, then make sure that you also get sodium in your diet. I recommend about a teaspoon a day. And realize, even for folks who don't normally add salt to their food, when you eat food that you buy from the supermarket, whether it's sauces or processed or whatever it is you're getting, there's usually a lot of sodium in there. And so what I see a lot of times is when people try to do my raw program, sometimes they drop their sodium levels by accident because they're drinking more water than they ever have, and they suddenly eliminated all salt that they had. So that's why I say about a teaspoon a day usually works. for folks who are doing full hypernourishment. So I hope that answered the question. And as you know me, I always like to give the why so that you can understand the reasoning and make better decisions. Hello, Instagram. How are you guys doing today? Let's see what I can pull up for you. Ooh, you guys are always so active. Instagram is always happening on the questions. Okay, so Shysta Rosa, what do I do with a high TSH? Okay, so again, explaining for you guys, TSH is thyroid stimulating hormone. What I call it, it's the nag for your thyroid. You know, when somebody nags you to do something because you're just not doing. Any moms out there, any dads out there? Okay, so TSH is the nag that tells your thyroid, hey, can you make more thyroid hormone? I need more thyroid hormone, right? So if your TSH is high, that means that your thyroid is not producing what it needs to without getting nagged. Now, sometimes TSH is high, but your hormone levels are normal, which means you're nagging it a little extra, but it's doing the job, all right? So that can be an early sign of Hashimoto's or hypothyroid, you know, that you're not producing what you used to, and now your TSH has had to go up to nag your thyroid some more. It also can be that you're low in iodine, so your thyroid's having more trouble making the thyroid hormone that it used to, because iodine is used to make your thyroid hormone. If you've upped cruciferous vegetables and you don't take iodine, that could make it more complicated. Sometimes people misunderstand this. Cruciferous vegetables can interfere with iodine absorption, but it's easy to work around. You just have your iodine separately from your meals and voila, you got no problems. And cruciferous vegetables help you heal your thyroid. So make sure you do both. So there might be some other things going on, but if you're worried that you might have thyroid disease, one, get on the Goodbye Lupus protocol ASAP. Two, you can ask your doctor to run labs to make sure they can run antibody labs, thyroid antibody labs, and discover whether or not you're brewing any antibodies. Oftentimes doctors won't test that because they don't usually treat it as autoimmune disease. The thyroid is considered disposable in Western medicine, meaning that once it's gone, you just take medicine for life, no need to do anything, right? But in my world, thyroids get better. So if you can track your antibodies, you can actually see when the Hashimoto's disappears, then you can say goodbye Hashimoto's, and then see if you actually still need thyroid hormone or not, which really depends on the person. So it doesn't necessarily mean anything's bad. Like I said, you might not just get your iodine where you need to. Maybe you stopped using salt and your iodine levels went down, but it's something to look at and follow. And some people don't have symptoms. Like I said, sometimes you're still getting enough. But if you do have symptoms, even if your thyroid hormone levels are normal, but you're feeling fatigued, you're having hair loss, you're gaining weight, dry skin, brain fog, it's worthwhile to go see your doctor and make sure that you're getting enough thyroid hormone to function even while you're doing the protocol to get as much back as you can. All right, let's see. Okay, let's go over here. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so go over here to Tina. Tina, I have a ferritin of 5. What can I do? Oh, and I love you back. So if you have a low ferritin level, it usually means that you're iron deficient. So I would be talking to your doctor about that and do whatever it takes, because if you don't have enough iron, you don't make enough blood. If you don't have enough blood, you're not going to have energy. You're going to feel terrible. It's not compatible with life long term. Okay. So I'm not trying to threaten to make you feel scared, but I'm just saying that if you're having a deficiency, it can have some pretty bad effects. You do need to have that taken care of. Okay. So ferritin levels can be affected by a lot of things. I can't diagnose it through the internet. But make sure you talk to your doctor and see what your doctor thinks the cause is. And if you have to take something to fix it, do so, because again, you need blood. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Okay. Let's see here. Go over to YouTube. All right. So Torzatron 1. I love people's screen names. All right. Hey, Dr. G, been dealing with vaccine-induced pericarditis for the past 12 months. Have you treated others in the same boat? Any success? About a week into your protocol and it's going well. Okay. And guys, if you're saying you're on the protocol, I'd love it if you said which one. Like, are you on the Goodbye Lupus protocol? Are you on the Goodbye Autoimmune Disease protocol? Are you doing the hypernourishment protocol? The more you tell me, the better my answers can be. So we have definitely had people with pericarditis join our rapid recovery groups and have recovery, and people with vaccine side effects as well as long-term COVID have recovery. I don't think anyone with the pericarditis from the shot has done it yet, but there's no reason to think that it wouldn't do the same. Remember, anything that ends in an itis, I-T-I-S, that means inflammation. That's what it means. It's just a medical term that means inflammation, right? So pleuritis, pericarditis, endocarditis, encephalitis, all of those things mean inflammation. If you've got inflammation, then Goodbye Autoimmune Disease Protocol is a way to go full out, okay? So while I don't have a specific case for you on this one, I would recommend it fully for people with any kind of, we've had some people with neuropathy side effects who have fully reversed them. I don't see a reason why you wouldn't be able to get that benefit too. So I'm glad you're already on track. Whichever version of you chose, go full on into the Goodbye Autoimmune Disease Protocol and then let me know how you do. Glad it's going well for you so far. Okay, let's see here. Thank you to everybody who's telling me that the sound and everything works. I've been working on it, guys. I do want this to be a pleasurable experience for you guys. Not going, hey, what does she say? I can't see. All right. Let's see. All right, Insta. All right. So Amanda Fua. Hey, doctor, does fasting work as a restart? Okay, well, it really depends on what you're trying to do. All right. Those of you who know me and follow me, I don't really recommend fasting. I recommend the opposite of fasting, hypernourishment, which is overdosing in nutrition to rapidly reverse disease by enhancing cellular repair and the immune system. So I'm not really down with fasting because you can't hypernourish and fast. That being said, there are many people who like to do some kind of fasting, whether it's a juice fast or a water fast, before jumping into a program. And some of the greatest benefits people will have is it breaks them out of their food addiction. So if you go from a water fast into the Goodbye Autoimmune Disease Protocol, you're going to think your smoothies are fabulous because they're so much better than water alone, right? Versus going from McDonald's to having smoothies where you might not really feel like you're getting much out of it, right? So if it's something that helps you with a reset, I think that's great. I've had a lot of referrals from people from places where they do things like water fasting, especially for people with autoimmune disease, because what often tends to happen is while they're fasting, they get some remission, but then when they start eating anything, symptoms come back. So it basically is saying that not eating is better than whatever you were eating before, which ouch, right? But it's not going to give you what you need to recover, because remember, the reason people are having full reversal of disease and maintaining that using my protocol is because they're actually getting cellular repair. So there's a difference between irritating your body by creating more inflammation by eating things that are inflammatory, right? So if you eat animal products, sugars, processed foods, heavy fats and oils, things like that, you're going to drive inflammation in the body, which can create more symptoms. If you take those things away, you're no longer irritating your body, right? So you're going to feel better, right? Most people feel better. That's different than actually repairing the damage from before. So for example, when some people tell me, as long as I eat plant-based, I don't really have much symptoms, but the moment I eat anything that's got sugar or something, my symptoms come back. I always tell them that means you're not fully healed. You're just in a state where you're not irritated anymore. But minor irritation leads to symptoms. Versus for me, I've been symptom-free with normal labs from lupus for 17 years now. I can eat a vegan donut. I can have a glass of wine or a beer, right? I can have Indian food with oil in it, right? And I don't get any lupus symptoms, zero, okay? Because I've actually fully recovered. So there's a difference, okay? So even if you decide to use fasting to give yourself a jump start, you still want to do the hypernourishment, because that literally gives your cells the building blocks of what your cells need to repair damage, to build the anti-inflammatory immune system, all right? So it's totally fine if you want to do it. Be careful. If you're going to do extended water fasting, please do it medically supervised. I did have a client once who ended up in a coma with bone marrow failure from a water fast. He went into starvation mode and his bone marrow failed. It was horrible, horrible, horrible. So if you're going to do more than like a day or two, and you, especially if you've never done it before, do it in a place where you can get medically supervised to make sure you're safe. But again, there's no need to. You can jump right into hypernourishment if you like. There are special cases where I will recommend things like juices and stuff when there's a lot of food sensitivity I'm trying to figure out, or really devastating gut issues. But in general, most folks can start working on increasing those foods and getting to those levels. All right, let's see here. Over here to, let's see what we got for YouTube. Oh, happy Wednesday back to you, April, May, June. All right, Trish, does chia seed have to be grounded? Well, not for general health, but for healing, yes. So for those of you who already learned my protocols, they're all out here, so there's no reason not to learn them if you haven't, okay? You know that one of the main components of hypernourishment is large doses of omega-3 fatty acids coming from flax seeds and chia seeds. In order to actually absorb those fatty acids, you do need to grind up the seeds to order. Don't buy them pre-ground because omega-3s oxidize rapidly and easily with air exposure, heat exposure. So you want them to be seeds until you're about to use it. When you're ready to use it, you grind it up and you're going to get the maximal absorption that you can of those omega-3s. If you don't blend it, it doesn't harm you, but you're not going to absorb as much. So sometimes people will say, what if I soak them and put them in a chia pudding or something? Delicious. I like to do that too, but you might get some omega-3, especially if you're chewing them up, but a lot of them, you're just going to see them come out in the toilet. Okay. So if you're using it as your dose of omega-3, grind. If you've already gotten your dose and you want to just enjoy some chia pudding or something that's unground, go ahead. All right. Let's see on the Facebook side. All right. Let's see here. Let's see. All right. So Catherine over in our Smoothie Shred group, hello, says I'm on the Goodbye Lupus protocol. Thank you for telling me. Will this reverse hyperparathyroid, please? It really is going to depend on the reason for it. So sometimes people have hyperparathyroid because they have actually other issues going on, like kidney failure, other thyroid disease. There's different things that can stimulate it. So if it is an inflammatory condition, then if we get rid of the inflammation, then it should get better. And I've definitely seen it go back to normal for folks with different issues, but most of the time it's secondary to another condition. So yes, do the full protocol. Let's get you as healthy as possible. And if you haven't yet found out the underlying cause, I do recommend that you go to your doctor and make sure that they are working that up to find out exactly what's going on. Okay. Let's see here. All right. Venus says, how do you feel about chickpea noodles? Been doing really good carb-free, but I miss noodles. Is it okay? I don't talk about feelings when I'm talking about healing. I'm going to have to meme that. Leo, meme that. Leo, by the way, is the brilliant person behind all my videos and things and why they look so good. So props to Leo. So I don't talk about feelings when I talk about healing, unless I'm talking about healing moods, right? So yes, noodles are fun, definitely big fan of Italian food and noodles, but if you're trying to heal, don't use processed stuff. Go ahead and use something like zucchini noodles or spaghetti squash. Zucchini noodles are good if you're on the raw program. If you're still eating some cooked food, but you're trying to stay low inflammation, spaghetti squash is a great way to go. What I've figured out, because I like to spend the minimal amount of time in the kitchen possible. I love my work and I love my family time. I'm not a big fan of kitchen time unless I'm doing that with my kids having fun, Anyway, what I figured out is I can put a spaghetti squash into my pressure cooker and it'll cook it for me. And then all I have to do is cut it open and scrape out the noodles. Pressure cookers are amazing. So that's what I would do for that. All right. Insta. Let's see. All right. Let's see what we got going on over here. All right. So Mandy Caroline wants to know, has your protocol I'm going to Guess you meant good. Is it any good for people with Parkinson's disease? Absolutely, it is. We haven't had a lot of people do it for Parkinson's, but the ones who have all gotten great results, stopped progressing, and even being able to reduce medication to the surprise of their doctor and their family and friends. One man who reduced his medicines on the program went back to meat and immediately had to go right back up on his dose. So it is definitely an important tool to use for Parkinson's as well. Okay, let's go over here. Check out what's going on with YouTube. So Rhonda says, please explain why alcohol is bad for my health. Please. All caps, please. All right, Rhonda really likes her wine, and she's upset about this. Alcohol is pro-inflammatory. You know, if you want the benefits of grapes, you eat the grapes. But alcohol is pro-inflammatory. Now, you don't have to be off it forever if you get healthy, right? So I actually, just so you understand, when I first had my labs go to normal and my symptoms disappear, I didn't know yet why. I didn't know what was going on. All I knew is that 12 years of suffering, and suddenly I was just zipping around feeling amazing. So I just kept things the same. And so I had stopped drinking as well. And I didn't drink for like 2 years. Even though I do enjoy a good martini or a glass of wine or something like that. I was in one of those places where probably you guys understand, if you've had lupus for 12 years and almost died as many times as I have, if it's working, just don't change anything. Just keep going exactly like I'm going. Once we actually did the work to research what had happened to me and why I was better, then I was able to realize, oh, wait, I don't even have lupus anymore. I can have a drink here and there and I'll be fine. So now that we understand the science of it, people don't have to be off things for 2 years before they decide to add things back. We know that we're able to verify that the disease is gone. We know that it's reproducible, that these diseases go away. And what I recommend is once you've been healthy, that you still stay clean for about 6 months or so you don't rip the scab off, all right? You got a new scab formed, you got no symptoms, you're feeling amazing. Don't rip it off. I see that sometimes the day people feel better, they're at a drive-through or they're having something they shouldn't. Just decide to get rid of it and do something else, you know, with your social time. I know right now there's herbal wine companies and things like that out there for people who are trying to be cleaner. But you can also have some herbal tea and you can have fun events that are outside of alcohol. You can, you know, really dive into new ways of feeling good outside of stimulating your GABA receptor with some alcohol. So yeah, it interferes with recovery. It's pro-inflammatory. Can some people get away with it? Yes, just like some people can get away with a little bit of cooked food or a little bit of animal products. Some people get away with it. But if you're really trying to go in a straight line towards your health, you're going to take it out. Okay, let's see here from the Facebook side. In Northern California, you are getting some weird weather. I feel so bad for you guys. My sister-in-law got flooded out there. It's amazing the weather issues going on. I hope all of you guys are safe out in California. It's terrible. Okay, let's see. Josephine, can 3 cups of beets or a half cup of dates with 800 grams of cruciferous instead of 3 cups of fruit be used? Thank you. Good afternoon. Very polite. Thank you. You can have unlimited beets. That is a vegetable. I don't recommend dates during the healing process. All right. That's just too much sugar. But 800 grams of cruciferous is amazing. You can put it down and that's really cool. But I really think you should use other types of fruit, not the dates. All right. Stay away from dried fruit and that will do a lot better for you. Insta. Let's give some love to Instagram over here. Oh, hey. So, you're just trying to get me worked up, Ella. So Ella wrote, what do you think of the carnivore diet? Many have cured their autoimmune issues. All right, you're going to feel the blood pressure going up and it's usually low. All right, few things to understand here. Number one, I've never seen anybody who's cured on the carnivore diet. To me, if you're going to use that word, you're telling me that the labs are negative, that there's 0 symptoms, the person is back to healthy. If anybody gets to that state doing anything, I'm for it. Truly, I am not married to one way of doing things. What I'm married to, besides my hunk of a husband, Thomas, is results. And nothing in my life has ever worked like this. That's why I teach it, why I talk about it, why I live it. Problem with the carnivore diet, and if you look up my YouTube channel videos, you'll find me talking about it. It is an extremely deadly diet, right? So first of all, we're not carnivores, right? I'm not going to get into the biology of it, but we all know that we are not related in any way to carnivores. We run from them. We are the prey. We are not the carnivores. We are the prey. But if you just look at the results of what happens in people's health, and when people try to eat an all animal product diet, what happens is you're dramatically raising your risk of cancer. You're creating insulin resistance, and you are going to really create huge amounts of inflammation that can aggressively worsen autoimmune disease and destroy your kidney function. So I've had people come to me off of all meat diets or high meat diets who went in with arthritis and then went into kidney failure. I've had that happen multiple times. There are folks who think that it healed their diabetes, but it's only because they haven't eaten any fruit. So of course their blood sugar is flat, right? Their blood sugar levels are flat because there's no natural sugars coming in, even though we're supposed to live off of glucose. That's what our body's designed to do. Ketones are supposed to be a backup pathway, but glucose is supposed to be the primary way that our brain and our bodies run. When they eat a banana, suddenly their blood sugar goes insanely through the roof. So people who are doing it to get rid of diabetes, they're fooled into this idea that they don't have it anymore because their blood sugar looks like it's totally flat, their A1C comes down. But in reality, they are completely insulin resistant now. We call those saturated fats clogged up their insulin receptors, and they can't eat any fruit at all. So it worsens the health of the body. Now, there are definitely people who feel better initially. There definitely are. Not all people. Many people have come to me and said they've never felt so sick in their lives, but there are some people who feel better initially, especially people who ate diets that were meat and dairy and processed foods, right? So anytime you clean up a diet from where it started, you can have improvement. But ultimately what you're doing is revving up those pathways for heart attacks, cancer, kidney failure, worsening autoimmune disease, diabetes. Your body needs plants to live. Our bodies are designed to use vitamins and minerals, antioxidants. Those are the tools that our body uses to create our cells and healthy cells. Those come from plants. We are designed to get our nutrition from plants. So please be careful about those things. They can give you very short-term results, but when you look long-term, that's the most important thing. Like right now, I'm trying to shop a publication of people who are 4 years out or more, still in complete remission from Sjogren's and lupus combined after only 4 weeks of working with me. And they're still in remission all these years later, right? So when you can show a long-term result, that is where you want, that's where you want to go, right? 17 years, even if I ever relapsed, it's still an amazing remission. I highly recommend it, okay? You don't see those kind of results in those high meat diets. You see much worse things. So please be careful. Please be careful, people. And again, I have made videos going even more into depth in those things. But when I hear it come up, I got to say something. All right, let's see here. Let's go over here. Leslie Devonish wants to know, what's the greatest benefit of juicing over smoothies? I laugh because those of you who know me well know that I'm going to say basically none. Smoothies are the way to go. There are exceptions though. So smoothies are my choice for nourishment because they are more nourishing. What I'm doing with a smoothie, and my son Solomon made them this morning, like my new cup. I'm on purple now. So my son Solomon made them this morning. Smoothies are how we get all the nutrients into your body as easily as possible. So we're getting the vitamins and minerals and antioxidants, but we're also getting the fiber, right? We're getting the entire food into yourself through a straw. Very nice and easy. When you juice, you are no longer eating a whole food anymore. You are processing it, right? You're processing the fiber out. You're processing a lot of the minerals out because that's usually in the skin, and you're getting some water, you're getting some sugar, you're getting a little bit of vitamins. So the point of the smoothies is it's my way of getting the nutrition into your body as easily as possible, the hyper nourishment. You can't hyper nourish with juices. Now, to answer your question, which is what are the benefits of juices over smoothies? Okay, well, usually when I'll use something like juices, it will be if somebody has really severe colitis. So I've actually helped many people now reverse ulcerative colitis and Crohn's disease, as well as other inflammatory bowel diseases, using my rapid recovery programs. Okay. And it's wonderful. I'm excited. I was just reading over notes today of somebody, you know who you are, who's coming into my group now with Crohn's. I've never been able to get off meds. I'm excited for him to do it. In our last group, we had someone who did it quickly within 5 weeks. Okay. But for those folks, if they are having severe diarrhea with blood, then their bowels are so inflamed that rubbing the bowel wall with fiber is just going to irritate it, even though it's the foods they need to heal. So I often will start with juicing in those cases to give the bowel time to rest from getting, scratched by food. And then as soon as the blood's gone, then we start moving into the full hypernourishment. So that's the main reason that I would say for someone to use a juice over a smoothie. But if you're trying to heal, you're going to want to do the smoothies, because again, that's the nourishment your body uses for your recovery. Tammy, where do you sign up for a group? So our free Facebook community group, Smoothie Shred, is smoothieshred.com. If you're looking to work with me in rapid recovery, at goodbyelupus.com, you just click on work with Dr. G and you'll see options like wellness appointments where you'll see me just like this, but we'll spend 75 minutes together just talking about you, versus my groups or my 4-week rapid recovery programs. It's all at goodbyelupus.com. All right, let's see here. Instagram. See what you get. DK Glasgow, can you take Armour Thyroid with Hashimoto's? That's usually why people take it. Let me get another one. So, Christianaren, what's your favorite website for fun vegan recipes? I don't have a favorite website. What I do, if I want to try something new and it's not an invention, because usually what I do, how many of you guys do this? I look at my pantry and I look at my fridge and I figure out a way to put it all together. Like, I need a meal, and I just kind of do it, usually in the Instapot. But if I have a craving for something that I've never made for anybody before, I'll just Google. I'll just Google, if I want, depends what I'm looking for. If I want to make like raw vegan spaghetti, right? You're going to get zucchini noodle recipes. Or if you want to do plant-based, no oil chana masala. All right. So what I do is whatever it is I'm craving, I Google it. I find all the recipes. I see which ones actually meet my requirements for health, or ones that I can easily meet my requirements, because it's not that hard to change things around once you get used to it. And then I look at the reviews to see which ones people like the most. Then usually what happens, I try it, and then I tweak it, usually more garlic. And yes, garlic's fine for people with lupus. I know some people just started typing that. So that's what I usually do. Okay, there's lots of great sites out there. All right, Maria, is that group just for people healing from lupus? So no, my 6-week rapid recovery group is really for anybody who wants to dramatically and rapidly change their health. So for example, I've been studying that group the whole day today up until now, and actually all week, but today has been like a dedicated study day. Because I want to get to know every person before they show up and make sure that I'm ready for them, because they all have different things. So there's some people in the group who are specifically there just for severe or morbid obesity. They have eating addictions and depression, and of course, a lot of pain that comes with being overweight, mobility issues. And they want a way to be on a plan that's not only going to be extremely strict for nutrition, but have extremely high support, because we give people help and encouragement and support every single day to make sure that they can do it, and teach them ways to find happiness from things other than food or alcohol, Rhonda. Right? So we have some folks there who are specifically there for weight loss. We have about, I'd say, a quarter of them who are there for kidney failure from lupus or other sort causes. I've been able to help so many people get rid of proteinuria and kidney disease, or improve as much as their kidneys can using that program. So it's very popular for that. I have some people who are there for long COVID. I have some people who are there because COVID caused their autoimmune disease or caused their autoimmune disease to relapse. I have a handful of people there for fertility issues. We've got about another quarter to a fifth there for thyroid issues, either Graves or Hashimoto's. We have a good section of people who are in pain and exhausted, but no one's diagnosed them yet, and they're tired of waiting around. Lots of people with lupus, of course, Sjogren's, rheumatoid arthritis, scleroderma, mixed connective tissue disease, diabetes, high cholesterol, high blood pressure. So the cool thing about the program is that it's not specific to disease. It's specific. I can't talk today, guys. It's unusual for me, right? It's not specific for disease. It's specific to cellular repair and recovery. So all of our cells require the same nutrients to repair themselves. So you can really use it for anything. The people that I'm messaging back and forth with the most are people who need to be on restriction. So somebody with heart failure that I know is going to need water restriction, a bunch of people with kidney failure who are on dialysis or close to dialysis, they're going to need low potassium water restriction. And I have to find out what their dosage is that's going to work for them. People with histamine issues, stuff like that. So I personalize it for things like that. And every single person gets individual attention every single day from at least two of us. We have a coach that looks at every line of their log and every picture to make sure that they did what they said. And then my husband and I go over it a second time to give any other coaching people need, emotional or functional, in terms of how to do it. So it's an extraordinary amount of time and effort that we are just happy to give people, because the outcome's extraordinary for people. In 6 weeks, happiness and best health they've ever had and tons of energy. It's just worth it. It's worth it for us. So yeah, this is the first group of the year, but yeah, it is really for, and we've even had people doing it lately for depression and anxiety. I recommend people still see their mental health professionals, but learning self-care and optimal nutrition helps those things too. So it's for all of those things, Marie. I hope that helps. All right. Acquiesces 9 on YouTube. Question: I make my own milk at home. Can we use homemade almond and walnut milk for hypernourishment for the recovery program? Thank you for all you do. So it depends on what program you're trying to do. If you're just doing hypernourishment, absolutely, you can totally do that. Just make sure that if you are adding extra nuts that you weren't eating before, that you actually get more of the flax and chia seeds to offset the extra omega-6. For people who are in more extreme programs, I don't have them do the nuts or make their own homemade nut milk, because you might be getting more of those nut fats than you think, which then has to be subtracted from the omega-3s, the net omega-3 benefit you're getting. Because again, we're trying to fix the ratio of those. So in those cases, I recommend people take the nuts out. Let's get you healthy, and then add them back in when you're doing the step down program. All right, Insta. All right, Flower Emporium. I do love flowers. That's a pretty picture. Okay, sorry. How do you get your B vitamins, please? So most of them I get from my food. My B12 I get from a supplement. If you're on Instagram, all you have to do is click my profile link, and you'll see a link tree. And one of them has the Amazon list of my favorite things that I use, supplements, kitchen tools, just whatever it is that I'm using, skincare stuff. I made that list as a public service again, because people always ask me that question. And then Amazon contacted me and said, hey, you have followers. Do you want to be an influencer? You can have your own page. And I went, cool. So now I have a page that has all that stuff. So if you click my profile link on Instagram, you'll see one of the link tree things on there is going to be my Amazon page. You don't have to use those, but it can just give you an idea of the ones that I personally buy and recommend. If you're on Facebook, then where it says learn more in the top of my Goodbye Lupus fan page, the link tree is there. If you're on YouTube, underneath most of my videos, there's a link to the link tree, and it's there. All right. So the link tree is just nice because you click it and then you can see all the different things, my website, my books, my Amazon recommendations. It's all there in one place. So, all right, let's see here. Let's see. Some of you guys, you just posted a lot, same question a lot of times. You're like, I am getting in today. All right. Janos Kato. All right. Hello, Dr. G. Is it safe to eat only tofu without any limitation, to replace cheese, and to drink only soy milk to replace milk? The most simple answer is yes. But what I will say is you don't need to replace cheese or milk. You're not losing anything by eliminating those foods besides the inflammation and illness that they bring to your life. So there's no reason to replace them. But if you like tofu and you want to use tofu instead of having animal products, I like to make like a tofu feta. I'll take if you take firm tofu and squeeze it out and crumble it with your fingers, it looks like feta. And I'll put nutritional yeast and garlic powder and salt and pepper and just put that on a salad, or just eat that with avocado. It's so good. So you can definitely do that. And it's much healthier than trying to use those cheeses that you buy in the market that are all processed and full of oil and bad for you. I do recommend unsweetened almond milk as a milk substitute. Again, you don't need to substitute it at all, but if you want to use a plant milk for your coffee or something like that, then that's a good choice as the unsweetened almond milk, just because I've had some people react to soy milk where they get some inflammation from it. So it's just safer. We've tested the almond milk for over a decade working with people, and it's been fine, of course, unless you have some kind of nut allergy. There's so many other milks out there right now, plant milks. I just haven't tested them. And you know me, I don't recommend things without results. So it might be that flax milk or something else is going to work for people. I just don't have the results to tell you that it works in the same way. So I usually stick with what I know is effective. And the unsweetened almond milk has been a really good choice for people. All right, let's see here. What's the time? All right, let's see. Harad, is your family raw vegan? We are not 100% raw. We are high raw. So I would say our diet is probably 75, 80% raw. So all of us have our smoothies when we for breakfast, including my kids, my husband, my mom who's living with us now. We all have our smoothies for breakfast. I have smoothies throughout the day because it keeps me nourished and energized and able to do my work. And it's just coming through a straw. Once I get into a groove, I don't like to leave the room. I like to just keep grooving, So that's worked really well for me. If I do take a break, or my kids, when they pack their lunches, they use Ezekiel bread, and then they usually pile that with avocado and pickles and nutritional yeast, mustard, stuff like that. I just posted a little video of my Alex making a sandwich. And if I catch him in the kitchen, I turn on the camera because you guys love him. He gets more likes than I do usually. So Ezekiel bread and avocados, we make a lot of sandwiches and stuff like that. And then dinner time, we always have a big salad, and then usually something in the Instapot. Gosh, they should pay me for how much I can promote them, right? But a pressure cooker, I use. So I'll put a bunch of vegetable broth in there. You can buy fat-free vegetable broth if you're trying to get rid of the oils, and stick in there quinoa, potatoes, celery, carrots. You can use fat-free tomato sauce in there, lentils, all those kind of things. Hit the soup button. So most of the time, that's what we're doing a lot of smoothies, a lot of salads, soups, and Ezekiel bread sandwiches. That's most of the time what we eat day to day. On the weekends, then we might have some recreational meal. We might go out to eat one of the nights. Or we might go more raw that weekend. Sometimes my younger son, who wants to be a vegan chef, wants to make stuff, and that's when we'll make our collard green wraps and do all these fancy things and stuff because it's fun. But we are high raw, but not 100% raw. All right, let's see over here. Let's go and check out what we got going on Facebook. All right, so Tina on Facebook says, I have colitis. Are people with colitis able to tolerate all the raw foods? I also have a hard time figuring out what constitutes 1.5 pounds when you're buying bundles of kale, spinach instead of bags of them. So number one, yes. And since I just went over different ways that I deal with colitis, I won't repeat it. Hopefully you were here for that. If not, you'll be able to watch the replay. If you're trying to figure out how to get a certain weight of produce, get a scale. That's how you figure it out, right? So if you're buying a bag with the weight on it, easy peasy. If not, then just get a scale, and that's how you know what the weight is. All right, YouTube. Let's see here. All right, Ariel wants to know, hey, doc, do you know if rosacea has dietary causes? And if so, will your protocol clear it up? So absolutely, it is inflammatory. And so diet makes a huge difference. And I've had a lot of folks with rosacea clear it up on the protocol, especially in rapid recovery. Yep. Okay. Thank you for the love, folks. Some of you guys just take the time to write nice comments, and I appreciate them. Let me see here. All right. Grace wants to know, I wanted to sign up for your full wellness consultation. Can you tell me what I'll be getting? You're like, what am I signing up for? What you're getting is a 75-minute appointment with me over Zoom or FaceTime, whatever you like. The first part of the appointment, I like to just sit and listen. I like to hear your whole story of your health. I often see trends and issues that people have never seen before, because I take the time to actually get to know you. So anyone who's seen me, I always start with, tell me your story. I want to know you, right? I hear your story, and then I'll ask you about different issues that I think could be triggering you or causing issues, ask you about your lifestyle, your moods, your life. I get to know you. Then I go over your diet and what you're doing, and I explain to you the impact of your diet on your health, whether it's pro-inflammatory, whether it's healing, whether it's a combination of those two. And then I tell you the steps on how to take what you're doing now and create a plan that's going to get you to your health goals. And I usually give people like 5 steps to do to go from where you are now to the most aggressive program. So you'll be able to take it one step at a time, and usually get about 8 to 10 pages of notes from me on my impression of what's going on with you and what steps I want you to take in order to get to your recovery. And then what I try to do is, anyone who sees me in a wellness session, I try to make it so you never need more information. Because my goal is actually not to be busier and have more appointments. My goal is just that you guys get healthy and never need to sit with a white coat ever again. So I give everything I can, including all the notes, hoping that that's all you'll ever need. And that way, if that's not enough for you, it means you either, it wasn't information that was your problem, but something else like motivation, right? Or food sensitivities or something else to go into. And then we just figure out another plan. Also, anyone who meets with me for a wellness appointment, I give you my cell phone number. So if you have any questions after the fact, you don't have to make another appointment. You can just text me and say, hey, it's Grace. I'm starting up with I've started this program, and I was wondering if this is normal. Is this okay? Is this an okay supplement? You can just text me. I don't charge for any of that. I just want to make sure that if you saw me, you know what to do. Now I know you, I can answer your questions, and hopefully you're set to go. So that is what to expect if you make an appointment. All right. Liam from Facebook wants to know, can you heal from just drinking the smoothies? You can. In fact, it's the easiest way to go because it's not so complicated, right? You can just make the smoothies, drink the water, and let the recovery happen. Most people like to add in some chewing, maybe a salad, maybe some broccoli and guac or something. Not necessary, though. You can do them. You just got to make sure that you stay full, okay? And let's see here on Facebook. So Mariana Lejeune, I'm sorry, I don't mean to butcher names. What is the best thing for Sjogren syndrome? Goodbye autoimmune disease protocol. You're going to want to maximize water intake. You're going to want to maximize the omega-3 intake, and you want to go all in because Sjogren's really needs that high intensity full protocol to get those results. And I would start now. All right, let me see what we got on time. All right, we can still keep going. Let's see here. Andrea, do we need to take B12 of the program? Yes, that was fast. Let's keep going. Fort Castle, thank you. That's very sweet. Let's see. Catherine, I do smoothies since October 31st, but I'm still bloated all the time. Any tips? One, it might just mean drink less at a time. If you're drinking a lot, realize that all the fiber that you're drinking, fiber actually tells your body to pull water into your intestines. So if you eat a lot of fiber and you're drinking a lot of water, you're going to have more water in your intestines, which will make them inflate. If you tend to be thin or not have a lot of ab muscle, you'll bloat more than folks who have a lot of ab muscle or just more body mass. If it's not painful, but just what I call a food baby, don't worry about it. All right, just let it go. But if it's uncomfortable, if it's painful gas, then what I recommend is you split up your servings and have smaller servings, maybe every couple hours to give your gut time to empty it. And that might work better for you. Okay. And YouTube question, C.A. Thompson. Hey, Dr. G, I have lupus. I was recently diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. I'm sorry to hear that. That's a lot. Will the protocol work during chemo, or can they cancel each other out? 1000%. You need it more than ever. We have had a lot of folks with cancer, with chemotherapy, and with lupus, not usually all of them together, but who have done our protocol and done extremely well. When you're taking something like chemotherapy, you really do want to be as nourished as possible to make sure your immune system is functioning to help fight that cancer and that lupus, and so you can recover from the damage that comes with it. All right. So we have a lot of times people who are post-chemotherapy will go to our rapid recovery group. We've had quite a number of people have done that because after chemotherapy, they'll get all sorts of different issues, neuralgias, fatigue, gut problems, and they recover on our protocol. So I think it's better to do them at the same time. Although with chemo, I definitely have experience with chemotherapy. Sometimes you can't eat, or what you eat keeps coming out, but do the best you can and take really, really, really good care of yourself. Okay. lots of self-care, lots of self-love. Find what's good in each day. You're going through a lot, but you can come out the other side of this and you'll be even more badass than you are now. So, all right, let me know how you do. Okay. Let's see. Tanez Behnam. Can you shed some light on ADHD? So attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Some of that is going to be genetic. All right. But what things have helped with it? Definitely nourishment. So for example, there's a study done a long time ago. At this point, I forget how many years passed until I see how huge my kids are. So I'm going to say at this point, it's probably over 15 years ago, maybe 20 years ago. There was a study where they looked at just high dose omega-3s for ADHD, and they found some of the same benefits that they found with stimulant medication. And I remember reading that at the same time I was working all on this stuff. And I went, yeah, of course, a nourished brain is going to work better. So people with ADHD, attention deficit issues, often are very reactive to food. So processed foods, animal products, sugars, all of those things are going to hurt their ability to pay attention. Whereas having the smoothies, high dose omega-3s, hydration, all those things will help them be able to function better. So I definitely recommend that for any kind of issue that affects your brain function, whether it's attention or whether it's memory or mood. Nourishment is something that's going to benefit your brain just like it benefit the rest of your body. Good question. All right. Curtis on YouTube says, Dr. Goldner, what about hemp seeds? What about them, Curtis? So if you want to know if you can have them, hemp seeds have a decent ratio of 6:3 for maintenance. But if you're trying to reverse disease, then I don't recommend them because they are still much heavier into the omega-6 than the omega-3. And Fort Castle already answered you, so that's nice. You guys are even helping each other. Let's see here, and let's see if we can get one for. All right. Okay, so Susan said, hi, Susan, thank you so much for turning my health around from lupus and Sjogren's. You're welcome. Love that. Everybody, yay. Celebrate, Susan. I still have some polyps in my nose. I don't have smell and asthma. Any ideas that can help me? Well, definitely, if you're not still with the protocol fully, I recommend it. I have definitely seen nose polyps get better, and asthma usually completely goes away on the program. So make sure you're doing full out the Goodbye Autoimmune Disease protocol, and you might want to look into anything that could be triggering any irritation, food allergies as well. Okay, but super, super good. All right, let's see if we get over to the Facebook side of things. Okay, so Dana Hauser says, microgreens are purported to have 5 times the phytochemicals and micronutrients. Any role or experience with rapid recovery is using? We have not tested them compared to things like kale and spinach, and so that's why I don't recommend them primarily. All right, but you're welcome to use them and see how well they go. Theoretically, they should work great, but again, I only report what we test. So that's all I have to say about that. Okay. And let's see, let's go over to Instagram. Whoa. Sorry. Okay, we're still there. My thumb got away from me. Let's see. All right. So Alexa Abate. Sorry if I'm getting it wrong. I have a question. What is a protocol-friendly dressing you like to make and use? So the easiest one, something like guacamole or anything avocado based. So I often will buy guacamole at the store, even though it is ridiculously expensive, because it's easy. And because with avocados, often by the time I open it, they've already passed away. So guacamole, super easy peasy. Even if you have a Mexican restaurant close by, you can get bulk amounts. Just make sure they don't put any cheese or dairy or sour cream in there. Or take an avocado, put it in the blender, add in some unsweetened almond milk or water, and then add in your spices, garlic, nutritional yeast, salt, pepper, all those kind of things, and blend them up. And it's really good. You can add some mustard. You can add vinegars in there. I like to make creamy dressings. The other thing I'll use is just vinegars. Sometimes you can use vinegars, put some seasoning in there. Some people will add flax oil to it. Personally, I don't like the taste of flax oil, so I'd rather hide it in my smoothie, but I have lots of people who have told me how much they love flax oil in their dressings. So what I'd say is try it. Just try a little and see if you like it. All of those are good ways to go. But my son Alex hates dressing. He just likes chopping up fruit. He dices fruit up really finely. So every bite of greens or veggies also has fruit. And that's another way to go that works well. Or you can squeeze an orange over it or lemon, things like that. There's just so many different ways you could do it, but hopefully that gets you started. All right, let's see. One more round, and then I got to get back. All right, so let's see here. Okay, so Eugenia, can you tell me what kind of treatment to take for my sugar? So I'm assuming it means you have diabetes. You really want to do the same protocol, okay? Using the Goodbye Autoimmune Disease protocol is a great way to reverse diabetes. Type 2 diabetes, when people work with me directly and we use an aggressive approach, it's usually gone within a month. HbA1c is down, sugars are good. So I would totally do that. Go all in, and you can get rid of it really, really quickly. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Let's see here. Just a quick answer for Rhoda. Is chia or flaxseed better for ITP? Both are fine. Use which one you like better, whatever's on sale. Let's see here. Get a YouTuber in here. I already answered that one. Okay. All right. This one always comes up every single time. But if one person asks it every time, that means everybody else, well, a lot of other people need it. The question is lupus, antiphospholipid syndrome with a DVT on warfarin, and they're telling me to cut back to a cup of kale. What should I do, or what can I sub for kale? Realize that the reason they're telling you to do that is because the effectiveness of warfarin, otherwise known as Coumadin, is decreased by eating the high nutrient vegetables. But the answer is not to eat less vegetables, because then you won't heal. The answer is you tell your doctor, I'm going to eat these vegetables. Please adjust my medication dosage to go with my healthy diet, rather than make me less healthy to make it easier to monitor my medicines. You can get a home INR machine, find out from your doctor what the optimal INR is, and that way you can even check it on a daily basis, adjust your medication dose to go with your diet. The other options are to switch to a different medicine, ask your doctor for a medicine that does not have a dietary restriction on it, and then you can just heal without having to worry about it. I was actually using the injections because I also have APS and I've had many blood clots, and I was able to eat freely by taking the injection. So it's no fun taking an injection, but at least I could eat freely. There are new pills that are out there as well that don't have dietary restriction. So don't let them keep you sick by telling you to eat less veggies so that your medicine's easier to manage. Change the medicine to go with the healing healthy diet. You can get rid of lupus and APS using the Goodbye Autoimmune Disease protocol. Do that. All right. But make sure that you're on top of what you're doing with your medicine, because you need it right now. We don't want you to have a blood clot. Okay. So take one of those suggestions. All right. Insta, what can we do over here? One more. Let me see. Okay. This is a different one. Meredith Stern, I have long haul COVID and I'm breastfeeding. Is your diet safe for breastfeeding? Yes. So think about it. The nutrition in hypernourishment is optimal for cellular repair and immune health. With a baby, you're having cellular growth. You're creating a new person. Create them out of the best nutrition on the planet. So absolutely. We've had people pregnant and postpartum on these in our rapid recovery programs, and they've done extraordinary. And when I nursed both my babies to over 2, and my milk was always, I made a lot of milk, and so I would donate to many families. I made fat babies and had lots of leftover to donate. And so, and I used to post it on the Human Milk for Human Babies site, and I'd be, I'm free range, hormone free, pesticide free, medication free, plant-based, but my milk was always like slightly green with a nice, beautiful golden layer of fat at the top for my omega-3s. And the moms I would donate to often told me I was top shelf. They would put mine right at the top. So it's absolutely great for building a baby's health. Plus, high omega-3 optimizes their IQ. So it is really a great thing to do. You can heal yourself while nourishing your baby. All right, guys, it is that time. I hope you had a good time with me today. It is January. It's a time of resolutions, but it's January 11th, right? And the natural course of motivation is about 2 weeks if you're not focused on your why. Okay, so if you're starting to feel that your initial motivation from New Year's is starting to wane, it's time to really dig in on your why. If you guys have read my book, Goodbye Autoimmune Disease, I have a lot of information there, as well as like all my free content on social media talking about why your why is so important. You need something really big that's motivating you, a carrot that you're running after to keep you on track and on plan. So don't remember to really visualize, vision board, journal on all the things you're going to do with this healthy life you're creating so that you can stay on track and get the health that you want. I will see you next week. All right, guys. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye, everybody. Happy hump day.